never mind. It turned 2:30 while I was saying
It is 2:30. We are.
I was going to go early, but
We are right on time.
we were right on.
We
weren't
are
even
right on time.
We weren't even trying.
I know. We're turning a new leaf in 2023.
I don't believe that. But it is Friday.
Hi.
You're Dan.
I'm Dan.
I'm Mark. We're back. I had a vacation.
I didn't.
It was lovely.
Not for me.
You weren't there.
I know. That's why it wasn't lovely for me. I was here drinking whiskey by myself at your kitchen table.
Oh.
But I just weirdly squatted while you were gone.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to be back. Happy to see everybody. Larry and Kathy. Some doofus named Dan's in there.
Hit me.
Speaking of doofuses, today's episode... No, this is me.
Oh.
Was going to be all about samples that some of you lovely folks had sent us. Unfortunately, Kathy, I kept thinking my wife had checked the mail and she thought I had. And today when I realized neither was the case, the key to the mail's in her car at work. So
I got a screwdriver and a hammer, man. I'll take care of that.
That's a federal thing to break into a mailbox.
How bad could it be? A little prison time?
There's no whiskey in prison.
Are you sure?
The stuff they make in the toilet you do not want to drink. But we'll drink some of those next week. And so we changed course to Japanese whiskey. And I've had this Hakushu 12 single malt, which I believe to be peated malt. Go to the product camera.
Hakushu.
I had that for, I don't know, a year or two? A million years?
Million years.
Pre-pandemic? I don't know.
Million.
We're going to open that and drink it and compare it to some other single malts.
Sounds great.
Eric sent some lovely single malts we hadn't gotten into, so we'll get into those a bit. Actually, I did that completely wrong. They didn't see any of that. But do it again.
You didn't see camera 2?
No, I'm out of sorts already. So now they'll see camera 2.
Hakushu. We're back to Hakushu.
At the Hakushu. We're going to drink some stuff.
Let's do it. Yay, drinking stuff.
Drinking stuff.
We also have a really neato mosquito. We got to go back to the main camera.
Oh.
Wooden whiskey tumbler, which we're going to talk about today.
My friend Tom sent that to me. Tom always sends thoughtful. Because when he sent a different little latte mug, but he sent this too.
I don't know what this is.
I do know what it is. It is, I'm going to use a big word. It is germane to some of the whiskey discussions we've had lately.
One might say relevant.
May be relevant to the whiskey discussions we've had recently. And so I wanted you to taste it.
All right.
I have never had that whiskey.
Oh.
It is expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
You want to start with that?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's do that before we start with Japanese whiskeys, because if I'm tasting something new, I'm going to have fresh palate.
Yeah.
We're speaking of fresh palate.
Cleanse thy palate.
Cleanse thy palate.
This is exciting. I'll tell you this. There's not a big whiskey scene in Key West, Florida.
Really?
No. Not really in South Beach either.
Yeah, make sure.
So we flew to Miami and then went to South Beach and then went to Key West.
So surprisingly huge whiskey presence in my garage where I was while you were gone.
I thought you were in my house.
Oh yeah, I was here too. All right, pour cam.
That little thing's full too. So,
Jam cam.
So be careful with that.
All right. Are you going to try some too? Is there enough?
If you don't drink it all, I would like a sip of it because I've never had that before.
All right. Let's see. First of all, are we on pour cam?
We are.
All right. Let's see if I can open this without spilling it everywhere.
I did open it and sniff of it, but holy crap!
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
I got it. Okay. And
see if you could save me a little nip, that'd be nice.
Is the mold? Does that cost extra?
That's not mold. That's bare metal. So no, it doesn't cost extra.
It's like green.
Is it?
Why is it green?
It's probably that metal on the top of it.
I don't know if I want to try this. All right, so this is a very expensive whiskey, you say?
Not very. It's expensive.
It smells strangely of fruit jam.
It does not.
Actually, the nose is kind of fruity.
As much of that finish is worn off, there hasn't been fruit in that little jar in a long time.
All right. Let's see what we got here. It has a weird color.
It really does. Go to the camera where you can stick it up in close.
The camera cam?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. It is a very unique color. I can't think of another whiskey that looks like that.
I think I have an explanation for some of that. It doesn't involve the chemical reaction with metal.
The lime jam jar that it was in? All right. Well, the nose is quite nice. Tastes like soap.
I think the metal's in the. I think the metal top got in there.
What is this?
That is Whistle Pig 15.
Okay. I'm not going to drink the rest of this.
Well, my guess as to what actually looks green is probably the dregs of, because it's a single barrel double oaked rye.
Okay.
I think that's the dregs of the.
I was going to guess double oak just because it is so dark.
Yeah.
But that mostly tastes like soap.
It doesn't tastes like metal to me.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking the top and maybe whatever was left on the edge of the top got to it.
I don't think this is the best test of what Whistle Pig 15.
I would not judge Whistle Pig 15 on this.
Let's not do this.
And I will tell you this: when it first got here, it was, I guess, right when we got back, so a week or two ago. It smelled better than this. I think I should have just taken it right out of the container.
I mean, the nose is actually pretty good, and it does have the characteristic double oak nose.
Yeah, and I think that's char.
Yeah,
all in there.
But that is an odd color that I've never really seen in whiskey before.
It is your turn for the dump glass, and there are no alternatives. We drink or we pour in the dump glass.
Wait a minute. No, it's not. It's your turn, isn't it? Oh, no, it is my turn. Damn.
It's your turn.
All right, fine.
If it's my turn, there probably are all our alternatives to pour in the dump glass.
Yeah, that just tastes like soap. Yeah. Okay.
But again, let's not judge Whistle Pig.
Yeah.
On that.
I mean, once again, the cap.
Bender says it. Larry says it looks like dark rum. Bender says it looks like a porter. I like porter.
It doesn't taste as good as either of those.
No.
That was.
Let's show him the top.
I think this is a tainted sample.
I think that's because that finish was off of that, and it spent because he mailed this before we left, so it's been in that thing for close to a month.
It's got a real penicillin finish to me.
I quite appreciated the thought though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to try the actual thing. I mean,
that may be that's rust.
Okay. So
it's definitely rust.
It's a tetanus finish.
Yeah. If you haven't had a tetanus shot, you should.
I gotta go. All right, let's try that. Let's try again here.
Okay, let's reset to the Japanese whiskey. The Japanese whiskey.
Okay, we're off to a rough start. We're a little out of practice. All right, on to the Japanese.
Water even tastes funny now.
Do we need to get different glass? Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah,
let's get different glasses. All right, this has not been a wonderful start to the show. So I guess that actually does bring up a good point. Be careful what you store your whiskey in. We do these, which, by the way, Eric sent this one. Thank you, Eric. But these are great little things. They're so cheap. Store your whiskey where it belongs, not in jam jars.
Well, and remember, Tom's not he's not a whiskey person. They all pitched in on a bottle for poker night. Tom's a poker person.
Oh, okay. Ooh, I like poker.
Yeah. So, nice thought. He put it in what he had.
Okay.
Here.
Yeah, I have a bad relationship with money. I love poker. All right, so we're starting with the Hakushu. Do you have other Japanese single malts up here?
I do not.
Okay.
I have another Japanese single malt. I have a Yamazaki 12, but I knew better than to bring it downstairs.
It's almost like we have a track record of opening bottles.
A 100% track record of opening bottles, whether we intend to or not. So, the Hakushu Single Malt Japanese Whiskey, 12 years. Distillery surrounded by forests at the foot of southern Japan Alps.
I like forests.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
This is a Suntory product, 43% alcohol by volume. And I don't know why I think this is peated, but I believe it to be peated.
Basil, pine needle, and green apple are that's the nose.
That's the nose. The palate is sweet pear, mint, and keep. God, sounds delicious. And a finish of green tea and subtle smoke. There's why I think it's peated.
Subtle smoke.
Subtle smoke.
So is this another one of the? I mean, I don't know a whole lot about Japanese whiskeys. Are they all in like the 80%?
No, but they tend to follow the same kind of thing.
I should say.
Same kind of thing Scotch does. You'll see a lot of lower proof whiskeys that should be a screw top.
So it is.
It's a $140 bottle of whiskey.
I almost pulled off the glass top of your bottle here.
But if you could do that.
That smells really good.
Ooh, yes.
Pour cam. Goes clink. Why aren't we drinking out of crystal?
Well, because I want Aaron to see this episode and go, oh goodness, they didn't use last cut crystal glasses. I need to reach out to Mark and do that thing that we talked about, where we make some glasses for Friday Sips Live.
Always an angle. Always an angle. All right. So this definitely has a Scotch nose, but there's like, yeah, boy, the green apple in the nose.
Yeah.
Like that's way forward on the nose.
What's the it's like a Tootsie Roll, but there's bubble gum in the middle of it. They make an apple one of those. That's exactly what this smells like.
Tootsie Pop?
No, it's not Tootsie Pop. That's a Tootsie Pop.
Oh,
this is a bubble something that's got gum in the middle instead of chocolate. Tootsie Pops have Tootsie Rolls.
In the middle of what, though?
In the green sucker. Bubble. I can't. But I agree. There's apples.
Huge green apple.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of the peat.
A lot of peat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. At first in, it didn't have a good flavor.
No, it had a real metallic tinge to it. Definitely not as bad. This is going to be the worst pour dump glass.
I'm excited. We've had the dump glass has been way too good lately.
It really has. There's that real quick punch of whatever that like metallic-y taste is up front, but once that goes away, it's
Second sip's way better.
It's pretty nice. Yeah,
It's thin though.
it is. It's got a good peat flavor though, and I love the
It's
green.
different. So a lot of in fact, what I brought out, Laphroaig, a lot of that's the smoke and then lemongrass and the the salt, the air kind of flavor. This is much more fruity, and I do think there's a little bit of pine or spruce or something in there. It's
Yeah,
more
I
like
get
a mainland peat. Than
It's almost like
Iowa peat.
It's kind of like a dried Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. That green apple in the nose is really cool.
So far, I like it, but I don't like. I think I paid $130, $120 or $30 for it.
I don't know if I would pay that much for this, but it's nice. It's pleasant, and I feel like if you are, I mean, again, I have very limited experience with Japanese whiskey. But coming from Scotch to this is not a big leap.
Yeah, I think ultimately what would make me not buy this again is I like the nose. I'm starting to like the palate. The finish is just boring.
It is. It doesn't hang around very long. No. But it is. I don't think it's bad.
No.
It's just quick. See, Watts doesn't like it either.
Yeah. That's my dog taking care of things.
Yeah, I agree. Watts has opinions.
All right, Watch. Good boy. That's good boy. Lay down.
I don't know. Actually, so on that one, remember how we talked about sort of that interesting...
Hang on. Watch. Good boy. Lay down. That's enough.
Good boy for interrupting.
No, but that's his job.
Yeah, it's true.
Is to protect us. Somebody could be coming to get our whiskey.
That's true. This does have a little bit of that... that just hit my hand. That took me a second. This has a little bit of that tingle that I talk about sometimes with the pepper, the Szechuan pepper. Like almost like a bubbly soda feeling, on the tongue. So there is that. I mean, it is an interesting feeling.
I'm liking it better with every sip.
Yeah, well, that first sip was nasty, I thought.
I think the finish is building too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I reserve judgment. I like it right now. I definitely don't like it $100+.
No, definitely not.
We'll see if that changes.
I am still getting a lot of that metallic tinge, which I don't love.
I don't get the metallic, but I got a something odd on the first sip as soon as it hit my tongue, but it's not there.
Like you just got a little bit of the yellow snow, like just,
something.
Yeah.
It did say Alps.
Yeah. Kathy asked the ABV, which is 43%. Math is 86.
86 proof. Yes, sir. Very good.
Math. I'm going to put a little bit in the dump glass. I want as much in the dump glass as possible to wash away first.
I don't think I'm going to let you have any of it. Well, we got a bunch of this.
All right. Well, so what do we compare that most directly to? Would it be Laphroaig?
Yeah, and I brought the 16 and the 10. And after tasting this, I say we try it with the 16.
Okay. Twist my arm. Put on the camera so I can see which one I'm looking at here. Because I can't possibly just look over there.
With the gold, it's the gold.
Okay.
Gold thing.
All right. Yeah, I would say, I mean, again, I think from the transition between Scottish, actual Scotch to the Japanese, this is a pretty short leap, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's good.
Now,
We had a few bottles of Yamazaki 12, and it in my mind, most compares to a Lagavulin.
okay, so my ignorance of Japanese whiskeys here, the peat notes. I mean, is it a peaty area? I mean, how do they?
I don't know where they get their peat from. I would assume in those forests they've got peat just like they do. Well, similar like they would have in mainland Scotland, but I don't know for sure.
And you all know about Japanese whiskey. Feel free to drop some knowledge here. See, this has a similar nose. The green apple's not there.
No, there's just no funk like Laphroaig.
There's no green apple in this like there was in that.
No, it's all the edge of the seashore, and there's some lemon to it.
Yeah. You can smell the sardines jumping up.
Yeah. Or whatever little tiny
whatever fish they have there. Yeah. That is totally different.
That's good.
Totally different. That's peat.
That's smoke. That's a burning rubber raft in the middle of the ocean covered in salt.
That's good. Boy, and it's an interesting leap going back to Scotch from the Hakushu.
Yeah, because the process is very similar. This is a single malt whiskey, so just malted barley. It's peated, which means they would have dried that malting barley with something containing peat. It's very similar in the way they construct the whiskey, and they've done it for a long time, much longer. Suntory is a very old company, and the parent of your favorite whiskey, Beam Suntory is the name of the whiskey, the name of the company. So very, very similar. But the knock on Japanese whiskey, as far as I know, has always been that it's almost too precise.
Yeah.
That you don't get funkiness, you don't get weirdness.
I just want to chew on this. It's like, like the finish is just so big and meaty.
Speaking of this bottle, I paid $130 for that 16-year-old. That's the 10-year-old. I paid $130 for that. I'll tell you how long I've regretted that decision. None. It's pretty good.
Larry said he just poured some Ardbeg. How does it compare? Which Ardbeg are you drinking? Is sort of the question.
Probably the 10.
Probably the 10.
As far as this and that, vastly different. This is going to be thinner,
fruitier,
and fruity and not as smoky.
Yeah, I think the comparison would be closer to this, the 10 Laphroaig, and then I think Ardbeg. It's similar. I think. I guess I'd have to do a side by side. You don't happen to have any Ardbeg, do you? See, one of the wonderful things about being at Mark's place is whenever I ask, "Do you have it?" the answer is always yes. Larry, they're pretty comparable between the Laphroaig 10 and the Ardbeg 10. Between the Hakushu and that, I think this has much fruitier notes. And actually, what Mark said about sort of the precision, precision of this versus the Ardbeg. Yeah, there's this is almost like a too clean flavor.
It is clean. That's a good way to put it. It's very clean.
Yeah. It's kind of like the difference between Little League Baseball or Major League Baseball. Or let's go minor league and major league. Major league's almost boring because it's just so precise. There's no errors. There's no...
I think it's boring because it's a ridiculous game.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
It's boring because it's precise.
It's going to hurt my feelings.
And it takes 11 and a half hours to play a game.
No, just shit all over my youth. That's fine. All right. That's delicious.
We did discuss, I don't remember if it was a podcast or I don't remember what we did, but the difference between the Laphroaig 16 and the Laphroaig 10 is nowhere near as big a gulf as between an Ardbeg 10 and this Ardbeg Supernova.
Yeah.
So I don't know,
thing is a bomb of peat.
Yeah, do you want to, for Larry's purposes, we'll open this?
Let's do this for Larry.
For Larry. I don't really want to open this bottle, but Larry means a lot to us.
I do have an open bottle at home, if only I had known.
Yeah. If only you had known we might drink some whiskey.
Who would have thought? But I feel like the Ardbeg 10, and we should do that side by side with the Laphroaig 10. But that's what I feel like is the most accurate comparison.
I sure am glad we decided to do this at my house today.
Hey, Mark, do you have any...
We have a whole guest room downstairs for you. Don't worry.
I'm going to be here. By the way, another Ticket Time is here.
Hey, welcome back.
Welcome back. He's sipping Widow Jane 13.
Interesting. There's been some changes at Widow Jane. Their master... I don't know why they had a master distiller. They weren't distilling anything to my knowledge, but she left.
Who was it?
Ticking time on Andrea. I don't remember.
Andrea, I don't remember left.
I don't remember.
I don't think I've ever had Widow Jane. Have you?
No, because I'm just not spending that money on another source whiskey.
All right. So Laphroaig 16 in the glass.
It is not going in the dunk. I can't do that to you.
You got to do a little bit.
There you go.
Please. Thank you. I'm going to put a little bit in there too. All right.
For the record, I hate spending $100+ on whiskey, but if you like Laphroaig, that's kind of easy to do. 16 is good.
Would you get this, or I mean, these are two different beasts, but the Lagavulin 16 versus this, what are you spending your money on?
Well, now they're almost the same price.
I know.
Back when I've never paid more than $70 for a Lagavulin 16, so that I'd buy a Lagavulin, but they're just different beasts.
They are. I mean, they're totally different. But
Yeah.
I think you're right. I mean, especially because I think comparably you could spend less money on this, which is also excellent.
Yeah, but it's not as good as that. But we're going to do this now. Just
all right. Let's keep talking and babbling.
This difference is vast.
Yes.
As much as I like Ardbeg 10, this is a whole nother thing. So let's sip a little and find that out, and that way we can answer Larry's question.
Right. So we're sipping along with Larry, Ardbeg 10, and this is a good one, by the way. If you're Scotch curious, this is just a good one to have on the shelf.
If you're peat curious, Isla peat curious, this is a great place to start. In fact, it may be the best place to start.
Yeah. Lisa Wicker. And she's now working at Lyons Brewing and Distilling. Thanks, Bender.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy different. Sweeter nose.
There's a lot going on in there.
It does.
We got to get back to more Scotch.
Yeah. Well, here we are.
Yeah, but there's only 14 bottles of Scotch on the table.
So just as a general note for the nose, this has sort of a fruitier nose than the Laphroaig.
It is, but it's not your typical. I don't know what that.
It's
like a stone fruit, like a plum or something.
Well, there's like a bouquet of fruits, whereas that's green apple. You can definitely identify
that's
a green
like
apple.
holy crap. Why'd they do that? Why'd they put green apples in this whiskey?
Yeah. So Larry, to answer your question, between this and the Hakushu, that is a fruit. This is many fruits. I think is the first thing I noticed, which I think goes back to the precision.
There's like graham crackers in that.
I was going to say marshmallows.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that
S'mores.
goes. Yeah.
We are hilarious. Oh my God.
We're so entertaining.
I know.
This though, because I buy these for about $50. Mm-hmm. And I haven't bought one in a while. That one's been over there for that one. I've had this whiskey saved in the cabinet for a long time.
Yeah.
For Larry, we opened it.
Larry, I think for me anyway, the difference between the Hakushu and this is like the Hakushu is a very narrow flavor profile, and this is expanded a little bit wider.
Yeah, and again, neither one of us do a lot. I think I've only had probably 4 or 5 Japanese whiskeys, and one of those was a Hibiki blended whiskey.
I want to buy the...
I don't think you'll be upset with any of the Suntory or the upper end Japanese whiskeys, but at some point in that experience, they do taste rather, I don't know, commercial, which I know is not their intent. Whereas these whiskeys really taste like artisan products that just have their own unique feeling to them. So if you got to pick one, I think you still have to stick with something like Ardbeg, especially the price. For instance, I would much rather buy this at $50 or twice than one of these at $1.20.
And I'll make a little disclaimer, because I think with the Hakushu, we're talking about a Japanese whiskey, and if you know anything about Japanese manufacturing, precision is everything. Yeah. So it should not be at all surprising that this is the way it is. And if you're looking for a very narrow flavor profile that's really well done, that Hakushu is a good example.
And probably something replicable. I'll bet you, because I've bought these over the years, they're always a little bit different.
Yeah.
I bet those don't vary very much.
Yeah. Ooh, another Ticking Time says he's got samples of the Widow Jane 13 and 10 that he's willing to send us.
We're willing to drink them. If you'll email Mark at thepracticalstill.com, we'll arrange those details.
Yes. I don't know if you know this, but we love drinking whiskey.
Well, early I tried to fight the whole sample thing. We sent some, and I felt bad, but we have generous friends. Eric and Kathy have sent stuff. Larry's always been
I'm
generous.
shameless. I'll take whatever.
Apparently I am too. I just didn't believe it.
Yeah.
But we do think sharing is important.
Yeah. Yeah, we're always happy
Speaking
to
of sharing, Ryan, I promise we're going to bottle samples. They may be terribly done and the wrong sample in the bottles when we get done with this, but we are going to bottle your samples. I don't think he's here. But
we haven't done Ryan's yet?
No, he picked, and Dude Hawk picked one.
Oh.
I guess we'll just make up his choices for him.
We'll send some stickers, too.
Also, some of the things Ryan chose, I drank.
You're welcome, Ryan.
Sorry. All right. But Ryan gets a crack at this.
Oh, good.
And now some Ardbeg.
Some Ardbeg. Well, I already had some Ardbeg open.
And he might get a crack at Supernova, which was my wife and I's Valentine's Day bottle in 2020. I think I bought it in 2019. Well, this is our Valentine's
We should
Day
drink
bottle.
to your wife.
Yes, we should. I'm sure she'll appreciate that when she gets home and finds all of her whiskey gone.
And me on the floor somewhere.
She will not be the least surprised. Mm-hmm. This is delicious. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, if you're into peated Scotch, I don't know how to pick Laphroaig 10 versus Ardbeg 10. I think they're different enough that you just got to buy both of them. They're not particularly expensive.
No.
I've never paid, believe it or not, I've never paid more than $40 for Laphroaig 10.
Nice. Well, we've also talked about Ardbeg 10 before as sort of the intro to peated whiskey. If you really like that and you don't want the bomb in your face, but you want the flavor, this is a good choice. Mm-hmm. Supernova, on the other hand, is a different beast.
An amazing beast.
It is an amazing beast. We tasted that, and every time we taste that, we kind of do this, where we do the like we're in a commercial, because it is just that good. We need to get sponsored by them, I think, because that would be one time where we could like do that ridiculous face, and it would actually be like warranted
every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Supernova, if you don't recall, Ardbeg sent. They don't say they sent the whiskey. They sent a component of the whiskey into space somehow, and they did that.
They threw it really hard.
I think for 3 years. This particular variant, the 2019 version, was never supposed to happen. After the 2015, I think, they were never supposed to do Supernova again. They did it anyway. This one doesn't really have any of that Supernova space crap in it, but it is amazing. I paid a lot of money for it, basically because my ego would not let me not pay it. A liquor store owner said, "Surely I offered you this," and I went, "No, you didn't." He goes, "Well, you could buy this one," and I went,
Okay.
$240 later.
Yeah.
I was the proud owner of what became the Valentine's Day bottle.
Bender says, I would love to share as well. I really appreciate it and enjoys y'all's kindness. Bender, we're just happy to have you here.
Yeah, man. You were early on, and you turned us on to Balcones Blue Corn Whiskey, which was fun.
Yeah. That's right. But yeah, we're stoked to drink what you guys are drinking too. I mean, especially if it's something we can't get here. Please don't eat the glass.
This is just...
It is. So this has, I mean...
This whiskey needs its own OnlyFans page.
Can I use your credit card to sign up for that? This has such a different nose than the 10 too. It still has that bouquet of fruit, like the wide fruity range, but it's different.
God, that is so good.
That is just next level. So what does a bottle of this cost?
I paid $240 or $260.
I'm gonna put that down. No.
Well, they supposedly. Oh God, that's good.
That is really good.
They won't do it again, but they just released. Maybe somebody.
Should we do the?
They just released Hypernova.
Should we just do like the Burger King orgasm face, like the commercial? Oh,
That's what it tastes like.
Yeah. It is really good. It is really good. But that's a lot for $240.
It is, and I hate that I spend that money on whiskey given how little I've prepared for retirement. But I don't regret that for a second.
We're going to be working to the day we die, but we're going to be drinking good whiskey.
If I have to sleep under an overpass later on, I'll still have the comfort of knowing I drank that whiskey.
This will make a great pillow.
God, it's good.
But one note about that, because we've talked a lot about price recently. And so one of the things that happened recently was we tried to buy a bottle of very expensive bourbon for our last whiskey night.
We did.
And we couldn't find one. So,
well, we couldn't find one to buy. We couldn't find one that it felt good to spend that money on.
Right.
And that, by the way, that amount of, what did we decide? It was 75 each?
Yeah, so it was like $225 or something like that. Yeah. I don't know if that math actually works out. But we were looking at $225-ish.
$225. American whiskey, bourbon, not rye.
It's hard to find.
We couldn't find anything we thought was worth that.
So one of the possibilities, if we had decided like a couple weeks earlier, was the Four Roses small batch, blah, 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 blah. But that's when I had the opportunity to buy the Russell's 13. The Russell's 13 was 100. The Four Roses was 250. I passed on the Four Roses because I didn't want to spend $250. But
was that a good decision?
The Russell's is good.
It is. Let's find out.
That's right. I gave him a sample. But I guess my point is, when you talk about expensive bottles, I mean, you're definitely 200 plus. You're probably looking at Scotch or like some very unique bourbons.
I don't know. I think that our particular dilemma was we happen to know how good whiskey that doesn't cost $200 is when it comes to bourbon, and I just couldn't get comfortable with anything we had access to at $200 for bourbon.
Yeah, Bender's about to make you feel real good.
Oh yeah.
He says, talking about expensive, saw a bottle of Old Fitzgerald 19-year bottled in bond for $900. Tell him, Mark.
So as you all know, Dan and I do not spend a lot of effort on allocation season. But my prime liquor store, where I buy 80% of our whiskey, beer, wine, everything, I have a club there. And I get this email. I get it a lot during the year, but for this time of year, it's the allocation email. It took me 7 minutes to look at this big list, send them my top 10 to hopefully get all the Pappies and all the BTACs. I didn't get any of that. I did get a 17-year-old Old Fitzgerald bottled in bond for $189. I haven't picked it up yet. Maybe we'll drink on that next week. We'll absolutely open it. So I don't know how much difference on that sheet. It was only about $50 difference between the 17 and the 19. But I'm pretty happy at $190.
I think it's be great. Yeah. Another Ticking Time also just said that the St. Patrick's Day special release of Kentucky Owl is at the Thornton Costco. $90.
I'm telling you, the Kentucky Owl Rye is just good. Dixon got into what I believe to be very, very old Barton Rye. The bourbons have always been kind of and I paid $325 for a batch 8 bourbon, and it was good. It was not $300 good.
But for $90,
I don't know, man.
I mean, because
remember the confiscated?
Yeah, that was bad.
It wasn't. It was like fucking all dry oak.
Yeah,
it was no good.
He said the F word. Don't tell my daughter. But
does she watch?
Sometimes. But the other thing is we go back to like the single barrel thing, right? They're all different. And I mean, is that any different really? I mean, he's always combining different barrels.
He didn't do that.
Oh, right, because he left.
Dixon's been gone since long, long time ago.
That's right.
In fact, he didn't even pick that batch 8 bourbon I got.
Yeah.
So I don't. Look, I'd love to try it, but I don't. I'd have to have a sample before I commit.
I guess.
More money on
Well, Kentucky Owl is one of those ones where I've had enough good ones and I've had enough like not great ones where it's a hesitation.
You're throwing the Wise Man in there.
That was
crap,
yeah.
and not to be compared to these.
Yeah, the Wise Man. Don't waste your money on the Kentucky Owl Wise Man, if you guys.
But hey, Ticking Time, you're close. Maybe you come hang out with us on a Friday and bring what you got, and we'll all drink together and figure it out.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah. All right. So anyway,
back to this question of, and now the Four Roses you were talking about is this year's. This is the 2021.
So this would have been in the 2022.
Yeah. So, but still, we have the Russells that you bought, and we have that. I will ask this question. Mm-hmm. This was a Scotch single malt Japanese whiskey sort of episode. Mm-hmm. Should we just go back to that and save this for later?
So what else do we have left in the single malt?
Well, nothing that's peated.
Okay. So we've got the Kirkland, which we've gone back to now twice.
Yeah.
The Speyside Single Malt, which we thought was sourced from where?
I don't remember.
We said something. Somebody's going to have to go back and look. But we suspected it was sourced from somewhere. It's 19 years.
Well, it's definitely sourced. Costco doesn't make whiskey.
Yeah, obviously. Oh. How many drinks have you had? All right.
Enough.
Anyway, so we got a Speyside and we've got a Highland. And we've tasted this one before. I can't remember what I thought of this. This was the one that has
none of those are peated. I say we're done with the single malt.
Okay.
So let's clear the single malt away. Where are we on time?
Well, I don't know. It's 3:00 ish.
Oh, that's 30 minutes.
All right. Well, let me first of all, hey, if you haven't hit the thumbs up, go hit that thumbs up. And by the way, the only way.
Oh wait, I say we're not done. I say we save this for later
because we got more.
This will be here unless I drink it.
We the only way we grow because we're lazy and don't do any advertising is if you tell people to come hang out.
We're not lazy. We drink really hard.
So I'm lazy. But I would love it if you guys would bring a friend next time. We are trying to grow this audience.
Yeah, that's how Kathy got here. Eric brought Kathy.
Eric brought Kathy.
Kathy brought Dude Hawk, I think.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. But tell your friends.
Oh, boy, I wish I hadn't lost the key to the mailbox because look what Kathy says.
I can't say that word, but
I can't say it either, but I know I'm going to enjoy drinking it.
Anyway, my point was tell your friends. Because we like drinking with you folks and we want to drink more.
Yes. Here's
thanks for that.
You got none of the Supernova from me.
No, I didn't hear any. Saw nothing.
Okay, so let's
Eric's not here.
Sent some. Oh, he's not. Well, let's save these. I changed my mind. Let's go back to that discussion.
Because Eric's not here.
And I'll tell you why I think this is relevant. So, Kentucky Owl Batch 1 Rye was my favorite whiskey of any description, any price, whatever, for a long, long time. Until I tasted the first batch of Russell's 13. And then I thought, oh my goodness, it's been a couple years, but this tastes like a better whiskey to me. Mm-hmm. And then I bought this and thought, holy shit, this is really good. So while we're here, why don't we taste these together? This isn't the first one. We've universally, two of us agreed this is good, not as good as the first one. This is the universe. The universe of two mildly entertaining people that like watching themselves on camera. Not as good as the first one.
No.
This one I have now decided may not be my favorite.
Really?
But I'll tell
you were high on that bottle.
I was high on this, but I'll tell you what always happens with these nice bottles. That little bit right there makes me just Jones. It's always the best part of a bottle.
Yeah.
So cleanse up. And I'm sad to tell you that looks green.
It does.
So
I'm afraid.
I think it's growing like.
I don't know what happened to that whistle.
I think it's growing like sourdough starter.
Can I just make bread out of that?
No, you're drinking that.
So funny enough, I'm
drinking out of a glass with nothing.
With nothing, you're sniffing it. You're making it look good. Do you want to start with the Four Roses or do you want to start with the Russells?
Up to you. It doesn't matter.
What's higher proof?
So
this is 114.8.
This is 114.2.
Okay, so they're pretty comparable. So it doesn't really matter. Let's start with the Russells and go to the Four Roses. And I will say this. So I just finished last night Dickel Bottled and Bond. Not an expensive bottle, not a hard to find bottle.
Delicious bottle.
Delicious. And what you just said, that last sip, for whatever reason,
I don't know,
just tastes different.
I've got bottle, like for instance, I've got the Old Forester 1910s one. I always go back and forth on, but the last bit of that bottle's always so good. I buy another one.
I'm going to give you another sample of this, by the way, because we're going to do this right now.
You just want to cloud the dump glass
as much as humanly possible.
You're just seeding the dump glass with something that might make that remotely.
If we can get this from at least like green to yellow, maybe.
I don't. The green thing's freaking me out.
It is scary, isn't it? Something happened in that little jar. This is not a reflection on Whistle Pig. Just as a disclaimer. It's not
a reflection on my friend Tom either.
No, not at all. That's delicious. Nose, my God.
That smells nothing like I remember it.
It's leathery, really leathery.
Yeah, and it's got a eucalyptus something or other, a camphor kind of.
Yeah, that's good.
We try and have themes to these things. didn't work out today, but I'm really glad we got here.
It is how that coats your mouth. I mean, that's so different than any of the scotches we tasted.
Yeah, I think that goes to the difference in new barrels. You know, you get such a load of wood in there early, and then you leave it in there for 13 years. And probably more. There's probably a little bit older whiskey in there.
That's fantastic. And, you know, we keep talking about this Russell's 13. This is the second bottle versus the first bottle. The first bottle was just, if you get the batch one...
Oh my god! And I know don't pay what.
Don't pay whatever.
400 or 500 is ridiculous, but it's
fantastic.
So good that if you were of the mindset to spend 4 times or 5 times retail on something, that's one that you wouldn't regret.
Yeah, and this isn't quite as good, but this is still phenomenal. Scott says he sent the link to our live stream to the only 5 people that haven't blocked his texts. So that's reliable. That's good. We got the Pittsburgh contingent locked down.
Yeah, the felons.
That's just good.
That's really good.
Can you put a little in the dump glass?
It is your whiskey, so I guess that's fair.
That's true. Yeah.
By the way, I always do that, and I don't know where that came from. We were watching Major League the other night.
I love that movie.
Bob Euchre sitting up in the stand, pours some whiskey from his flask, and then goes, and I went, oh, that's where I got that from.
Fly ball, caught.
That's delicious.
Here, have a little sip of that, because it's just that good.
Look at you.
I have it at home. It's not fair. All right. Now I'm excited for the Four Roses. I kind of, so I wish I had posed the Four Roses question to you before I bought the Russells. Although I don't regret the Russells, but the Four Roses was on tap for $250. We could have done that for our whiskey night. $250 was a lot of money for poor old Dan. But
I didn't realize that was an option for whiskey. I would have voted for that 100%.
Yeah, but it was like one of those things where they call you and they say you have to pick right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing though. When we were picking that bottle for whiskey night, you can't pick off of things that you just can't get. You don't know you're going to get that. You got to pick something you can go in the store and buy.
Yeah.
And for those bottles at $200, there's just not a lot of bourbons I'd be willing to pay that for. And we couldn't find any of them at the time.
Let's pour that bad boy.
Yeah.
By the way, Mark poured me, before we started recording, he poured me that Boulder Spirits cask strength again, which I have an unopened bottle of at home. It is just damn good. If you see it, buy it. Seriously.
And no reason to open his unopened bottle until he finishes drinking my open bottle.
I'm not
He's a smart guy.
Yeah. I can't do math, but like the rest of it, I got this.
Whiskey strategy.
That's right.
You're under control.
I'm a strategery kind of guy.
Strategery.
Yeah. All right. Do we want to kill this?
If it fits in the glasses, yeah.
All right. I'm greedy, but I don't want to like kill your most expensive bottle here.
It's not the most expensive bottle.
All right.
Hell, we've already been into more expensive bottles a couple times.
And there's a lot of
hey, everybody, Dan drank all my whiskey. We're running out of room on the table.
Yeah. It happens a lot, doesn't it?
I didn't even have the pour can.
Well, that's fine.
Maybe everybody else is drunk too.
So, they're having conversations amongst themselves. We're just.
This isn't all that different.
To me, this is a more floral nose.
Yeah.
It was more flowery. But it is, I mean, notably, it is as complex and like there's a wide spectrum of
maybe even more.
Yeah.
I still don't know. Every time I drink Four Roses whiskey, I don't know why I don't drink more of it. It's really good.
I did have that single barrel recently that was pretty mediocre, I will say.
I think the small batch select for $60 is probably one of the better whiskeys under $100.
Kathy, I'll build a bigger table for when you guys show up. Just come on by.
This is a Belgian pub table. We can just pull the leaves out and make more room. Don't worry, we got that covered. Just come visit. That's damn good.
This is very friendly. I don't know if that makes sense, but the Russells bombs your mouth with flavors and
its elbows are out.
Yeah. This is a little more polite.
No.
I write things for a living.
beautiful things.
Yeah, this is quite nice. And now that I'm thinking of it, 4 roses, idiot.
It's sophisticated.
Yeah, floral roses.
Well, but so this is goodness. So the small batch select is 6 of the 10. I can't remember now. I think it's 6 of the 10. This is, I think, 4 of the 10 recipes. You know, they've got 2 mash bills and 5 yeast strains.
All right.
I think that's how that works.
So here's the test. Okay, so they're tasting notes.
There's definitely there's 4 of the OBSQ whatever. There's 4 different ones in there.
Yeah, but that they're tasting notes. So you ready? Ripe berries. Delicate sweet aromas.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Light floral notes. Well, I already talked about that.
Absolutely.
Hints of rich, warm oak. I actually don't get a lot of the oak.
I do on the nose.
Okay. Flavors, ready? Bright fruit. Plum and orange.
Plum
peel.
I get.
Yeah.
Orange.
I don't get the orange
I don't
peel.
get so much orange.
Spice, delicate spice. And then a finish that is long and smooth with lingering touches of vanilla cream and dark chocolate. I want to see... I want to see if it's vanilla or chocolate.
Chocolate doesn't jump out. If you say it, then I taste it. But I don't know. The vanilla for sure. And cream, it is a lovely mouthfeel.
I get the vanilla. I don't get really that much chocolate. Yeah. And as you know, I'm a super taster.
Super taster. I wish I could put a little picture of Mariah Carey right there. The diva.
Oh, that's good.
For God's sakes, don't ever give Dan credit for something if you don't want to hear about it every day.
I cling to what I have. Larry says ABC had 4 roses, small batch select, shelf tagged for $35.
I would just rake it off the shelf and just buy all of it.
He said he double checked with the clerk and he corrected it to 65. I still would have bought.
Larry, I applaud you for double checking, but always double check after you buy all of them. By the way, I believe you've mispriced this.
Yes. As you walk out with the door open, as you're walking out.
Hey, you priced that wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough call between the Russell's 13 and the 4 Roses. What do you think? What's your call?
Today, the 4 Roses.
Man, that is so neck and neck.
Yeah.
But we should also mention at retail.
Oh. What did I pay? Do you remember?
It was 2 something.
Oh, it was a 2 handle for sure.
Yeah.
$230, I think. Or something.
And the Russell's at retail for me.
I paid $75 for that first.
I paid $110.
Yeah. So price wise,
Russell's wins.
It's close enough that you go Russell's. But today, just forget the price. Just sipping it, I like the 4 Roses better.
The only thing I like better today, and I like both of them, but the only thing I like better today about the Russell's is I really like the mouthfeel of the Russell's better. Because it does give you that big mouth coating feel.
Yeah, but this just builds. It's just all there. And the finish just this is delicious.
I agree. But I do like
when we did the, and by the way, beyond the live streams, we do open the bottle and back to the bottle videos. When I did the open the bottle on that was a big part of it. It just had this, it just amazing.
Blossomed.
Yeah, God, it just blew up. It's so good.
I guess it is aptly named. Very floral and blossoming. Yeah.
Well, whatever it is, because that bottle's gone now.
Yeah. Cheers to that.
That's delicious. I will give you none in the dump glass.
Oh, you. All right, well, luckily for me. I don't want to pour this in the green water.
I don't either.
There's like an alligator floating around in there. I'm afraid.
It's maybe less green now, maybe.
I'm going to enjoy this.
We have rules. We have rules for the dump glass.
But, we should talk about this. You did taste this.
Try and make some room.
Here, put it on the good camera. So, a friend of mine...
It's the good camera. It's a specific camera.
The good camera. So, a friend of mine brought this over the other night, and he's loved this. And so, he brought over a sample for me. I had not had any Maker's Mark probably for 10 years before he put this in my glass. Yeah.
Because I've had a few. You think as much as you drink my whiskey, you would have had some.
I don't think I've had any. I don't think I've had any Maker's Mark. And I remember actually, so Maker's Mark was one of those formative whiskeys for me. it was kind of like the first nice whiskey anybody gave me, which is, whatever. I was a kid working in a bike shop. But anyway, my buddy Jason, he has been raving about this. He has loved it. It's a 2022 limited release, 109.4 proof, virgin toasted French oak staves. I mean, just
French.
Yeah, and it's just something you and I, it's kind of off our path.
Yeah, we don't do a lot with it. Which is weird because I like it. I like Maker's Mark every time I have it.
Yeah, so I thought this was okay. You thought it was pretty good.
I liked it. And I liked it recently, right over there, about an hour before we started this. Not that we're drinking ahead of time or anything.
So another ticking time says BRT 01, this is 02, is better. I just killed both my BRTs last night, and only the 01 did I rebuy.
When you're here hanging out with us, maybe you can explain all the different... Because there's 1,174 different Maker's Mark whiskeys.
It's got 4 Rosasitis.
I really can't keep up with it.
Yeah. But what I thought about this was it was good, but it was oak forward, and it was not a big mouthfeel. But you thought the mouthfeel was okay.
I liked the mouthfeel. It was very silky and it took up everything. And I think now that I read this, a dark expression filled with notes of fruit, nut, and chocolate, I'd go along with that 100%. And it's not often you get chocolate out of a wheated bourbon, in my personal opinion.
So I still have a little bit of the 4 Roses left, so I'm not going to pour that just yet.
I'll wait, and you can pour some later.
Yeah, because so what I will say as a qualifier for this Maker's Mark is that when I tasted this, I had been drinking first Dickel, and then we poured some of that Kentucky.
Wait, you've been drinking a lot?
I know, weird.
Interesting.
Who would have thought? And then I did some of the Kentucky Owl Rye. So my palate was all effed up. See, I said effed because I'm family friendly. I have children. All right.
She's not watching.
She swears more than I do.
Especially when she sees me in the garage. Like,
yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah. It just breaks my heart.
Yeah. I got to tell you a story later that I can't tell right now. But it
breaks my heart.
Anyway.
Lucy's... the look on her face when she sees me in the garage is like, oh, God, he's here again.
Until she breaks out the guitar and starts singing John Prine. Anyway, I did have a fairly colored experience of this. So you're drinking it now.
And in a colored environment where I've been drinking would appear to be a lot.
Yeah, but you had a pure experience earlier.
I did have a pure experience earlier, yes.
So tell us how it goes.
I think the nose is fabulous. And it is, I mean, maybe I just read the word chocolate, but now I smell chocolate. So
no, I mean, it's there. I mean, that chocolate is a major component of it. I will say that. I got more fruit than anything.
If I get fruit, it's dark. It's plums or whatever, super ripe apples or something. But that's good. Now, admittedly, I'm a homer for wheated bourbon.
Now I'm curious what this costs. I gotta actually spell it correctly. Maker's Mark.
Those are very complicated words.
Hey, autofill went to Maker's Market. I don't even know what that means. So this is the 2022 limited release. BRT02.
Kathy. F is for family.
So this is like $100 retail.
Really? No. No, it's not that good.
Yeah. 179. Get the hell out of here with that. 70. Okay, so this
70. Yeah. 60, $70 all day long.
So it looks like retail's around 70.
I've had a couple of just, I don't know what they were. I don't remember all the 11,000 combinations. A couple of Maker's store picks that were just delicious.
Well, this is good. I mean, because Maker's is one of those that I've sort of ignored since we started doing this. Maybe we need to go back to it.
We always should. I think it's the same. It's the same kind of thing. Every time I have Makers or Four Roses, I wonder why I don't drink more. And again, I'm more of a wheated bourbon fan than you are, so it's easier for me to like these things. But they're just good.
Yeah, I mean, my general takeaway with this was it was okay. It wasn't. I wouldn't pay a whole lot for it.
70, I'd buy that for. More than 70, no way.
All right. Well, I gotta taste a little bit of it now. Because we're 54 minutes in. Why wouldn't I?
54, you say? How do you know that? Where do you...
We're 54 minutes in.
It's a first for us here in Fraser's Life. He's caught his sleeve in a cork.
We have transcended.
That's how we get sponsorship from clothing companies.
My Pearl Izumi shirt got caught in this cork. Oh boy,
I love that. That's like brown sugar and cinnamon and.
Well, see, I know you
that.
hate when I mention it, but
Don't say grappa.
But it's got the grappa notes.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. Oh my god. Listen, I'm right.
Definitely got fingerprints on that glass.
Whatever do you mean? Shut up! I just caught my sleeve in a cork
And didn't spill anything. That's a good thing.
Actually, this is better than it was the first time I sipped it. But it is really oak forward. You are getting that, yeah? The oak?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
But it's a weird, lofty kind of floats in oak thing, which is probably because they take a bunch of pieces of sticks and shit and put it in the barrel after.
Yeah.
Stave details. 10 virgin toasted French oak staves.
Oh, in high school?
I guess so.
Mm-hmm. All right.
If you drink this whiskey, you'll be guaranteed 10 virgin oak staves.
Now we're going to get like bombs in the mail. Thank you. That was terrible. Stop. Stop. All right, stop. That was terrible. I retract my statement.
I like it. I will drink that whiskey anytime, but I will not drink it for more than 60 or 70 bucks.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah.
All right, we should.
By the way, it's not as good as some of the other like store picks.
Well, now I'm curious about the BRT01, this is the BRT02.
Well, ticking time. Well, ticking time will help us out with that.
All right, we need to shut this down because
okay, good. We're too much.
Because now I'm telling bad jokes that are going to get us in trouble.
But remember, Dan told those jokes.
That's right,
not me.
And Dan regrets that.
Which is amazing because I mean, if anybody's going to go south, it's always me.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Kathy, we'll get those samples out of the mail sooner or later.
Yes.
And we missed Eric. Hopefully he'll watch after. And Ryan, if you watch after your samples are coming, I would promise, but at this point, I really can't depend on a whole lot.
I'm going to sit here silently.
Cheers.
Good night.